I told my family if they don't like the way something is, they can take care of it themselves. I've got 3 teenagers and a husband who all seem to think the house cleans itself. For years, I did basically everything. Cooking every night, scrubbing bathrooms, mopping floors, the whole deal. My husband handled lawn stuff and taking out trash. The kids did their own laundry and rotated vacuuming duty. That was it. Then I started my master's degree. I work full-time in accounting and hit this wall where I couldn't move up without more education. So I enrolled. Figured I could handle it. First semester, I kept up with everything. Cooked dinner every night, kept the house spotless, did my coursework after everyone went to bed. But by month 3, I was running on 4 hours of sleep and my grades were tanking. I asked my family to help more. My husband said I was being too picky and everything looked fine to him. So I stopped doing some stuff. Started batch cooking on Sundays and freezing meals for the week. Stopped mopping every other day. Let the baseboards get dusty. We weren't living in trash, but it definitely wasn't magazine perfect anymore. That's when the complaints started. My youngest Danny said the frozen lasagna tasted weird. My daughter Ashley refused to eat the chicken and rice because it wasn't fresh. My oldest son just microwaved pizza rolls instead. My husband kept pointing out random stuff. The kitchen floor had a sticky spot. The stairs had cat hair on them. Every single time I told them the same thing. You see it, you can fix it. They'd just grunt and walk away. Nothing ever got done. Last Thursday, I was at the dining table doing homework for my financial analysis class. Had my textbook open, laptop out, notes everywhere. My husband walked in from the bathroom and said the shower curtain liner was covered in mold and needed to be replaced. I looked up at him and asked if his hands were broken. He got annoyed and said that's not the point. The point is, it's gross and needs to be dealt with. I asked him why he couldn't deal with it. He said because I always handle that stuff. That's when I snapped. I called everyone into the living room. All 3 kids were on their phones. My husband stood there with his arms crossed looking annoyed that I interrupted whatever show he was watching. I told them straight up that I was done. If they see something that bothers them, they have 2 choices. Fix it themselves or shut up about it. I wasn't their maid. I had been doing everything for years, and now that I had school on top of work, I physically couldn't keep up, and I shouldn't have to. Ashley immediately said that wasn't fair because she has volleyball practice and homework. Danny said he has robotics club 4 days a week. My oldest Kevin said he works part-time at the grocery store and shouldn't have to do more when he gets home. I told them I didn't care. I work 40 hours a week, take 4 classes, and still do more housework than all of them combined. They all have functioning arms and legs. They can figure it out. My husband jumped in and said I was being too harsh on the kids, that they're busy and stressed with school. I looked right at him and said this conversation included him too. He does the bare minimum and acts like he's pulling his weight. I grabbed a notebook and started writing down every single chore that needed to be done weekly. Vacuuming, mopping, cleaning bathrooms, dusting, dishes, cooking, laundry, groceries, taking care of the cat, all of it. Then I divided it up. Everyone got assignments. My husband got bathroom cleaning duty and cooking twice a week. Kevin got dishes and taking out all the trash. Ashley got dusting and helping with dinners. Danny got mopping and vacuuming the whole house. I kept laundry, groceries, and my own coursework. Kevin said this was ridiculous and he wasn't doing it. I told him then he could move out and pay his own rent if contributing to the household he lives in for free was too much work. The room went dead silent. Kevin stared at me like I'd slapped him. Then he laughed, said I was bluffing, that I'd never kick him out. I walked to the front closet and pulled out 2 large duffel bags, dropped them at his feet, told him he had until Sunday to decide, either pick up his share or pack his stuff. My husband grabbed my arm and pulled me into the kitchen, started hissing at me about how I'd lost my mind. I yanked my arm back and told him this wasn't about dishes. This was about 18 years of raising a kid who thinks he's entitled to a free ride. Kevin appeared in the doorway. His face wasn't smug anymore. He asked if I was serious. I looked him dead in the eye and said I was giving him a choice right now. He could start acting like a member of this family who contributes. Or he could figure out how to survive on his grocery store paycheck while paying rent somewhere else. Those were his options. My husband tried to cut in, but I held up my hand. This wasn't up for debate. I'd spent nearly 2 decades being everyone's maid and I was done. Kevin's mouth opened and closed like a fish. Ashley was crying quietly on the couch. Danny looked terrified. My husband looked like he wanted to yell but couldn't find the words. I went back to my homework, told them they had the weekend to think about it. The conversation was over. Nobody said anything for the rest of the night. Kevin disappeared to his room. Ashley went to her friend's house. Danny stayed in the living room playing on his Switch but kept glancing at me like I might explode again. My husband sat on the couch watching TV, but I could feel his eyes on me every few minutes. Around 10 p.m., he came over and asked if we could talk. I closed my textbook and waited. He said I'd embarrassed him in front of the kids. That threatening to kick Kevin out was too extreme, that we should have discussed this privately first. I asked him how many private discussions we'd had where he promised things would change and then nothing happened. He didn't have an answer for that. I told him I was tired of being ignored until something got so bad I had to explode about it, that this family treated me like a service they'd subscribed to instead of a person. He said that wasn't fair. that he appreciated everything I did. I asked him when the last time he showed that appreciation was. When he last noticed I was running myself into the ground trying to do it all. When he stepped up without being asked, he got defensive. Said he worked hard too. Paid the bills. Made sure we had everything we needed. I laughed. Couldn't help it. Told him congratulations on doing the absolute baseline of being a parent and husband. That I did all that too, plus everything else. He went quiet. Finally said maybe I was right. That he hadn't realized how much I was struggling. But kicking Kevin out seemed harsh. I told him it wasn't about punishment. It was about natural consequences. Kevin was 19. Legally an adult. If he wanted to be treated like a child who didn't have responsibilities, he could find somewhere else to live. My husband went to bed without saying anything else. I stayed up until 2 finishing my homework. Sent an email to my professor apologizing for my last assignment being late. Didn't mention the family drama. Just said I'd had some personal issues come up. Saturday morning, I woke up to find Kevin in the kitchen making eggs. He never cooked breakfast. Never cooked anything, actually. I poured coffee and sat at the table. He didn't look at me. Just kept scrambling eggs and making toast. When he finished, he made a plate and set it in front of me. Still didn't say anything. Just went back to the stove and made plates for Ashley and Danny, who were starting to come downstairs. I ate in silence. The eggs were a little rubbery but edible. Ashley looked between me and Kevin like she was watching a tennis match. Danny kept his head down. When Kevin finished eating, he took all the dishes to the sink and started washing them. My husband came down and stopped in the doorway. Looked at Kevin doing dishes. Looked at me. Didn't say anything. After breakfast, Kevin asked if I had the chore list. I showed him the notebook. He took a picture of it with his phone. Said he'd start on his tasks today. I nodded. He grabbed the trash bags and headed out to empty all the garbage cans. My husband sat down next to me with his coffee. Said Kevin had come to his room last night, and they'd talked for a long time. That Kevin admitted he'd been taking advantage. That he didn't want to move out, but understood he needed to step up. My husband also said he'd been thinking about what I said. That I was right about him not pulling his weight. I didn't respond. Just finished my coffee and went to take a shower. When I came back downstairs, the house was in motion. Kevin was vacuuming. Ashley was dusting the living room. Danny was organizing the recycling. My husband was in the bathroom scrubbing the tub. I sat down with my laptop and started my coursework. Tried to focus, but kept getting distracted by the sound of my family actually cleaning. Around lunchtime, Ashley asked what I wanted to eat. I said I hadn't thought about it. She said she could make sandwiches for everyone. I told her that would be great. She actually smiled at me. First real smile I'd gotten from her in months. The rest of the weekend was strange. Everyone was trying. Too hard, maybe. Being overly helpful and asking if I needed anything every 5 minutes. But it was something. Sunday night, I sat everyone down again. Told them I appreciated the effort this weekend. But this couldn't just be a weekend thing. This had to be the new normal. Kevin said he got it. That he'd been a selfish asshole and he was sorry. My husband agreed. Said he'd set phone reminders for his chore days so he wouldn't forget. Ashley and Danny both nodded. I told them I wasn't trying to be a drill sergeant. I just needed them to see me as a person, instead of a machine that kept the house running. Monday morning, I woke up actually rested for the first time in months. Got ready for work and found the kitchen already clean from breakfast. Kevin had washed his dishes before leaving for his shift. Small thing, but it meant something. Work was the usual chaos. End of quarter, so everyone was stressed about closing the books. My manager Brenda asked if I was feeling better. I'd used a sick day Friday to catch up on coursework. Told her I was fine. She said I'd seemed off lately. Asked if everything was okay at home. I gave her the short version. That I'd been trying to balance too much and had finally put my foot down with my family. She laughed. Said she'd gone through the same thing with her kids a few years ago. That sometimes you have to let things fall apart before people realize what you do. I asked her how she managed. Working full-time and getting her degree. She said poorly at first. Then her wife sat her down and they reorganized everything. Made schedules. Split duties. Actually treated their household like a team effort. Told me it made all the difference. That I shouldn't feel guilty for demanding help. I thanked her. Felt better knowing someone else had been through it. When I got home that night, dinner was already started. My husband was following a recipe on his phone. Looking stressed but determined. Asked if I could help him figure out if the chicken was done. I checked it. Told him it needed another 10 minutes. He nodded and went back to chopping vegetables. Kevin came home from work and immediately took over, setting the table without being asked. Dinner was a little bland, but we all ate it. Ashley complimented her dad's cooking. He looked pleased. Danny asked for seconds, even though I could tell he was being polite. After dinner, Kevin and Ashley cleared the table while Danny loaded the dishwasher. My husband packed leftovers. I sat there feeling weird about not helping. My instinct was to jump up and take over, make sure it was done right. But I forced myself to stay seated, to let them figure it out. Even when Danny loaded the dishes wrong and Kevin had to redo half of them. They needed to learn. That night, I finished an assignment that was due Wednesday. Actually finished it early instead of scrambling at the last minute. My husband came in around 10 and asked if I wanted to watch something with him. I said sure. We ended up watching some comedy special and actually laughed together. Hadn't done that in a while. When we went to bed, he told me he was proud of me for going back to school, that he should have said that more. I told him I appreciated that. We fell asleep holding hands. Small gesture, but it had been months since we'd done that. Tuesday morning, Kevin asked if I wanted coffee. Made me a cup without me asking. Added cream and sugar exactly how I like it. Handed it to me with a quiet "Thanks, Mom." I almost cried. Stupid thing to get emotional about, but it felt like he was finally seeing me. Not just as someone who did things for him, but as an actual person. Ashley came down in her volleyball uniform and asked if I could come to her game Thursday. I'd been missing a lot of her games because of class. Told her I'd check my schedule and let her know. She nodded. Said it was okay if I couldn't make it, that she understood I was busy. I told her I'd try my best. She hugged me before leaving for school. When was the last time she'd hugged me? I couldn't remember. Work was brutal. 2 people called in sick, so I had to cover their workload too. Didn't get home until almost 7. Exhausted and hungry and dreading whatever disaster was waiting. But when I walked in, the house was clean. Dishes done. Someone had started laundry. Dinner was in the oven and Kevin was watching it carefully. My husband was helping Danny with his math homework at the table. Ashley was on the phone with a friend but smiled when she saw me. I dropped my bag and just stood there. Kevin asked if I was okay. I nodded. Said I was just surprised. He grinned. Said they'd decided to make Tuesday my night off. That I didn't have to do anything. Just relax. I almost argued. Almost said I should help, but caught myself. Thanked them instead and went to change into comfortable clothes. When I came back down, dinner was ready. Spaghetti and salad. Nothing fancy, but it was hot and ready and I hadn't had to make it. We ate together. Actually talked instead of everyone being on their phones. Danny told us about his robotics project. Ashley complained about her English teacher. Kevin talked about a rude customer at work. My husband mentioned his boss was retiring, and he might have a shot at the promotion. Normal family dinner conversation. The kind I'd been craving but couldn't remember the last time we'd had. After dinner, I sat on the couch with my laptop to review notes for an upcoming exam. Actually retained information instead of falling asleep on my textbook. Around 9, my husband brought me tea. Asked how studying was going. I told him better than usual. He kissed the top of my head and went back to watching TV. Wednesday morning, I checked my planner and realized I could make Ashley's game Thursday. Told her at breakfast. She lit up. Said I hadn't been to one in over a month. Made me feel guilty, but also glad I could go this time. My manager Brenda called me into her office mid-morning. Thought I was in trouble for something. Instead, she told me I was getting a small raise, that my work had been consistently excellent and she wanted to recognize that. I thanked her. Asked if this was normal for mid-year. She said no, that she'd fought for it because she saw how hard I was working. Told me to keep it up and bigger things would come. Left her office feeling lighter than I had in months. Maybe everything was starting to come together. Got home that evening to find complete chaos. Danny was crying in the kitchen. Ashley and Kevin were yelling at each other. My husband looked stressed and overwhelmed. Apparently, Danny had forgotten about a science project due tomorrow. Ashley was pissed because Kevin had shrunk her favorite shirt in the laundry. My husband had burned the chicken for dinner. I took a breath, asked what everyone needed from me. Danny said he needed poster board and markers. Ashley said she needed her shirt replaced. Kevin said Ashley was overreacting. My husband said he didn't know what to make instead. I told Danny to write down what supplies he needed. Told Ashley to look online for a replacement shirt, and I'd order it tonight. Told Kevin to be more careful about checking labels before washing. Told my husband we'd order pizza. Everyone calmed down. We handled each problem one at a time. Danny and I went to the drugstore for supplies. My husband ordered pizza. Ashley found a replacement shirt, and I used my raise money to order it. Kevin apologized to Ashley. She accepted. Crisis managed. While Danny worked on his project, which was actually pretty cool, a model volcano, I sat with my husband. He apologized for the dinner disaster. Said he should have checked the temperature on the chicken earlier. I told him it happens, that I'd burned plenty of dinners over the years. He seemed surprised. Said I always made it look easy. I laughed. Told him I'd just gotten good at hiding the mistakes. Thursday I went to Ashley's game. Sat in the bleachers with other parents. Cheered when Ashley served an ace. Watched her team win in 4 sets. She found me afterward grinning. Said she'd played better knowing I was there. We went for ice cream, just the 2 of us. Sat in the car eating and talking. She told me things had been really tense at home lately. That she'd been worried I was going to leave. I asked her why she thought that. She said because I'd seemed so unhappy. And Dad and Kevin weren't helping at all. That she'd felt stuck in the middle. I told her I wasn't going anywhere. That I just needed things to change. She nodded. Said it was better now. That everyone was actually trying. We drove home singing badly to songs on the radio. My husband had cleaned up from dinner. Kevin and Danny were playing video games together. Something they never did. Friday morning, I had my financial analysis exam. Felt prepared for once. Got to the classroom early. Reviewed my notes one last time. The exam was hard but fair. I walked out feeling confident. Checked my phone and saw a text from my husband. Good luck on your test. We're proud of you. Screenshot of a message from the family group chat. Kevin had said Mom's going to crush this test. Ashley had sent a gif of someone doing a victory dance. Danny had just sent a thumbs up emoji. Sat in my car and cried. Happy tears this time. That afternoon, Brenda asked if I had a minute, led me to the conference room where the company VP was waiting. My heart dropped. Thought something was wrong. Instead, they offered me a promotion. Team lead position, more money, better hours, flexible schedule for school. They'd been impressed with my work and wanted to invest in my growth. I accepted on the spot. Went home that night and told my family. Everyone cheered. Kevin said we should celebrate. My husband suggested going out to dinner. Everyone agreed. We went to this Italian place we used to go to for special occasions but hadn't been to in years. The kids actually talked to each other instead of being on their phones. My husband held my hand across the table. Danny gave a toast. Said he was proud of his mom for working so hard. Everyone clinked glasses. I looked around at my family. At these people who'd finally started seeing me. Started appreciating everything I did. It wasn't perfect. Kevin still left his dirty socks in the living room sometimes. Ashley still complained when it was her turn to cook. Danny still forgot to take out the recycling occasionally. My husband still needed reminders about bathroom cleaning day. But they were trying. Actually trying. And that made all the difference. Saturday morning, I woke up to the smell of pancakes. Went downstairs to find my whole family in the kitchen. They'd made breakfast. Set the table. Even had flowers in a vase. My husband said they wanted to thank me. For everything I did. For being patient while they figured their shit out. Kevin handed me a card. Inside, they'd all written notes. Kevin said thank you for not actually kicking me out. For believing I could be better. Ashley said thank you for showing me what a strong woman looks like. Danny said thank you for always being there even when we didn't appreciate it. My husband said thank you for not giving up on us. On me. For fighting for our family even when it was hard. I'm not going to lie. I ugly cried. The kids hugged me. My husband kissed me. We ate pancakes and they weren't even burned. Update 1. Month later. It's been about 5 weeks since I threatened to kick Kevin out and reorganized our household duties. Figured I'd update since a few people messaged asking how things were going. Short answer is better. Long answer is complicated. The first 2 weeks after my initial explosion were almost too good. Everyone was on their best behavior. Chores were done, without reminders. Dinner was a team effort most nights. The house stayed consistently clean. Kevin even started meal prepping for his work lunches so he wouldn't eat out as much. But week 3 is when reality set in. Ashley forgot to dust for her assigned day. When I reminded her, she rolled her eyes and said she'd get to it later. Later never came. I ended up doing it myself because I had people coming over. Danny's vacuuming got progressively lazier. He'd do a quick pass over the visible floor but ignore under furniture or along baseboards. Kevin started leaving dishes in the sink overnight again. Just 1 or 2 at first. Then it became a regular thing. My husband did okay with his tasks but kept finding excuses to swap nights. His excuse was always work stuff came up or he didn't feel well. I tried to stay patient. Reminded myself that changing lifelong patterns takes time. But I could feel my frustration building. One night, about 3 weeks in, I came home from class to find the kitchen a disaster. Dishes everywhere. Counters dirty. Trash overflowing. My husband was on the couch watching basketball. Kids were all in their rooms. I stood in the doorway, taking deep breaths, trying not to lose it. My husband finally noticed me. Asked what was wrong. I gestured at the kitchen. He looked confused. Said he'd clean it up during the next commercial. I told him it was his night to cook and clean. That I'd been at school for 4 hours. That this was exactly the kind of thing we'd talked about. He got defensive. Said he'd had a long day. That I was being too rigid about the schedule. That it could wait until tomorrow. I told him if he wasn't going to stick to the agreement, then we needed to have another family meeting. He sighed like I was being dramatic. Said fine. He'd do it now. But his tone made it clear he thought I was overreacting. I went upstairs. Called my sister Patricia. She lives 2 states away, but we talk regularly. Vented about the whole situation. She listened. Then said something that stuck with me. She said changing family dynamics is like turning an aircraft carrier. Takes time and consistent pressure. That I couldn't expect complete transformation in a few weeks. That backsliding was normal. But I also couldn't let them slip back into old patterns. She was right. The next morning, I called another family meeting. Told everyone I'd noticed the effort fading. That I appreciated the first few weeks, but this needed to be sustainable. Not just a temporary show of good behavior. Kevin said he'd been tired from work. Ashley said she'd been stressed about college applications. Danny didn't say anything. Just looked at his feet. My husband said he thought things were going fine. I pulled up my phone and showed them my notes. I'd been documenting what actually got done versus what was supposed to get done. The evidence was clear. Everyone had fallen off. Ashley looked embarrassed. Kevin got defensive. Said I was keeping score like some kind of dictator. I told him I was documenting because nobody was being honest about their actual effort. That saying you'll do something and actually doing it are different things. My husband asked what I wanted. I said I wanted them to honor the agreement we'd all made. That if someone couldn't do their task, they needed to communicate that ahead of time. Not just blow it off and assume I'd handle it. We revised the chore chart. Made it more flexible. Added a shared family calendar, where people could swap tasks if they communicated first. Kevin suggested setting phone reminders. Everyone agreed. I said I'd give it 2 more weeks. But if things didn't improve, we'd need to revisit more serious consequences. The room got quiet. Ashley asked what that meant. I said it meant Kevin's offer to move out was still on the table, that my husband and I might need to have separate conversations about our marriage, that they needed to take this seriously. My husband's face went pale. Kevin looked pissed but didn't argue. The meeting ended tense. That night, my husband came to bed and asked if I was really considering divorce. I told him honestly I didn't know, that I wasn't happy, that working full-time, going to school, and still doing more than my share at home was burning me out. He asked what he could do. I said, actually, follow through. Stop making excuses. Act like my partner instead of another kid I had to manage. He said he'd try harder, that he didn't want to lose me. I wanted to believe him, but I was tired of promises. The next 2 weeks were better. Not perfect, but better. Everyone used the calendar. Tasks got done more consistently. When Kevin had to work a double shift, he asked Ashley to cover his dishes night. She agreed, and he covered her dusting day the next week. My husband actually meal planned for his cooking nights, made grocery lists, prepped ahead of time. The food was edible, sometimes even good. Danny stepped up his vacuuming game after I showed him a YouTube video on proper technique. Ashley set alarms on her phone for her tasks. During week 6, something unexpected happened. I got sick. Just a bad cold, but it knocked me out. Fever, cough, couldn't get out of bed for 3 days. I fully expected everything to fall apart, that I'd recover to find the house destroyed, and everyone having survived on takeout. Instead, my family stepped up. Kevin called out of work one day to bring me soup and medicine, made sure I had water and tissues. Ashley organized a dinner schedule, coordinated with her dad and Kevin to make sure meals happened. Danny took over my laundry duties without being asked. My husband brought me tea and toast, checked on me between meetings while working from home. When I finally felt better enough to come downstairs, the house was clean. Dishes done, laundry folded, even the bathroom was scrubbed. I stood in the kitchen, not quite believing it. Kevin came in from taking out trash, saw me looking around. He said they'd been talking, that seeing me actually sick made them realize how much I did, that they'd all been taking me for granted, that it shouldn't take me nearly collapsing for them to step up. My husband joined us, said Kevin was right, that they'd had a family meeting without me, decided they needed to do better. Ashley appeared with Danny. She said they'd made a pact, that even when I was better, they'd keep up the effort, that I shouldn't have to threaten them or document their failures, that they should just do it because they loved me. I started crying, blamed it on still being sick, but we all knew better. The next few weeks were genuinely good, sustainable good, not performative good. Tasks got done, communication improved. I stopped feeling like a single parent to 4 children. My grades improved. Finished the semester with a 3.8 gigapascals. Got invited to join an honor society. Work was going well. The promotion meant I had more flexibility. Could leave early for class without guilt. My manager Brenda had become a mentor. Gave me advice on balancing everything. Told me about resources at work I didn't know existed. Home life found a rhythm. Not perfect. Still had bad days. Still had slip-ups. But the foundation was different. One Saturday morning, about 8 weeks after the initial explosion, I was sitting at the kitchen table doing homework. Coffee in my favorite mug. House quiet. My husband came down early, poured his own coffee, sat across from me. We didn't talk, just existed in the same space. Comfortable silence. After a while, he said he'd been thinking about taking a cooking class at the community center, that he wanted to get better at it. I looked up. He seemed nervous, like he thought I'd mock him. I told him that sounded great, that I'd love to eat whatever he learned to make. He smiled. Real smile. Not the placating smile he'd been using for weeks. Said he'd been thinking about a lot of things, actually. About how he'd coasted through our marriage, let me carry the load. Convinced himself that because he worked and paid bills, he was doing enough. But watching me struggle, seeing how close I came to actually leaving, it scared him. He said he didn't want to be that husband, the one who realizes too late what he had. I told him I appreciated that I'd been thinking too, about how I'd enabled a lot of it, never set boundaries, never insisted on change until I hit breaking point. We both had things to work on. He reached across the table, held my hand, said he was glad I'd snapped, that I'd stopped accepting less than I deserved, that our family was better because of it. Kevin interrupted by walking in and immediately apologizing for interrupting. My husband and I laughed, told him it was fine. Kevin made breakfast for everyone, without being asked. Just did it because it was morning and people needed food. Small thing, huge thing. That afternoon, I went to Ashley's volleyball tournament. My husband came too. We sat together cheering, like a team. Ashley's team won their division. She ran over after and hugged us both, said having us both there meant everything. We took her and her friends out for frozen yogurt. Typical parent stuff. But it felt special because it had been so long since we'd done typical parent stuff together. On the drive home, my husband said he'd been thinking about our anniversary coming up in 3 months. Asked if I wanted to do something special. Actually plan it together instead of him just making reservations somewhere and calling it romantic. I said yes. that I'd like that. He suggested a weekend away. Just us. His mom could watch the kids. We could actually relax, talk, reconnect. I agreed. Started looking forward to it. When we got home, Danny was video chatting with his robotics team, working on their competition project. Kevin was deep cleaning his room, playing music loudly but actually cleaning. I sat on the couch and just observed. My family. Actually functioning. Actually participating. My phone buzzed. Text from my sister Patricia. Checking in. Asking how things were. I told her better. Much better. She said she was proud of me. That standing up for myself was hard but necessary. That my family was lucky I'd fought for them instead of just leaving. I hadn't thought about it like that, but she was right. I could have left. Could have given up. Instead, I'd drawn a line. Demanded better. Given them a chance to rise to the occasion. And they had. Eventually, that night at dinner, Kevin brought up college. Said he'd been looking at programs. That he wanted to get a degree. Not just work at the grocery store forever. My husband and I exchanged looks. Asked what changed his mind. Kevin said watching me go back to school made him realize it wasn't too late, that he could do something more with his life, that he wanted to make us proud. I told him we were already proud, that watching him mature these past weeks meant more than any degree, but I also supported him going to college. He grinned, started talking about potential majors, options, plans. My husband joined in, talking about loans and scholarships, financial planning. Ashley listened intently. She'd be starting applications soon too. Danny asked if he'd have to do more chores when Kevin moved out. Kevin laughed, said he wasn't moving out until he finished his associates at least, that he'd help pay rent once he started saving money, that he wanted to contribute. My husband said that wasn't necessary, but Kevin insisted, said he'd been living here for free long enough. Time to start pulling his financial weight too. The conversation flowed naturally. Everyone engaged, everyone listening. This was what I'd wanted, what I'd been missing. After dinner, I had reading to do for class. My husband told me to go relax, that he'd handle cleanup. I started to argue out of habit, caught myself, thanked him instead. Went upstairs to our room, propped up pillows, got comfortable, read 3 chapters without interruption. No guilt, no wondering what disaster was happening downstairs, just focused on my work. Around 10, my husband came up, asked how studying was going. I told him good. He got ready for bed. We fell asleep watching a show we both liked. Simple night, but that was the point. Normal family functioning shouldn't be remarkable. It should be default. The next morning was Sunday, my usual meal prep day. But when I went downstairs, I found Kevin already in the kitchen, cutting vegetables. He said he'd watched enough of my meal prep sessions to get the basic idea. Wanted to help. Actually help, not just keep me company. I showed him my recipes. We cooked together. Packed containers for the week. He asked questions. Paid attention. Took notes on his phone. By lunchtime, we had 15 meals prepped. He said this wasn't as hard as he thought. That he could do this for himself once he moved out eventually. I felt proud. Not just of the cooking, but of him. Of who he was becoming. That afternoon, my study group met at our house. First time I'd hosted anything in months. The house was clean. Kevin let us use the dining room table. Brought us snacks without being asked. My group members commented on how nice my family was. How helpful. If only they knew how different things had been 2 months ago. We studied for 4 hours. My husband kept the younger kids quiet. Made sure we weren't interrupted. When my group left, he asked how it went. I told him great. That I felt prepared for our next exam. He said he liked seeing me in my element. That I'd been glowing lately. More confident. I told him I felt better. That not being exhausted all the time did wonders for your mood. He laughed. Said he'd noticed. Monday morning, I woke up before my alarm. Lay there thinking about everything. How close I'd come to my breaking point. How scared I'd been that nothing would change. How I'd almost given up, but I hadn't. I'd demanded better. Held firm. Given consequences. Let them see what life looked like without me running myself into the ground for them. And slowly, painfully, imperfectly, things had changed. The alarm went off. Started my week. Work, class, family, repeat. But the rhythm felt sustainable now. I wasn't drowning anymore. Just swimming. And that made all the difference. At work, Brenda pulled me aside. Said the VP had been impressed with my performance. That there might be another opportunity coming up soon. Director level. I told her I was interested. She said she'd keep me posted. Drove to class feeling hopeful. About work. About school. About family. About life in general. Finished the lecture and checked my phone. Text from Ashley. Mom, do you have time to help me with my college essay tonight? I responded yes. Heart happy that she wanted my help. That she valued my opinion. That our relationship was healing. Got home to find Danny working on homework at the kitchen table. He said Kevin had helped him start it before leaving for work. That it was easier with someone explaining it. I sat with him. We finished together. Ashley came down with her laptop. We worked on her essay. She wanted to write about overcoming challenges. About learning to appreciate her parents. Specifically me. I tried not to cry while reading it. She'd written about the past few months. How she'd taken me for granted. How watching me stand up for myself taught her to value her own worth. How she wanted to be strong like me. I hugged her tight, told her I was proud of her. She hugged back, really hugged. Not the perfunctory teenage hug, real affection. My husband came home, saw us working together, smiled. Started his cooking night dinner prep. Danny set the table without being asked. Kevin came home and jumped in the shower before dinner. We ate together, talked about our days, made plans for the weekend. Normal family stuff, but it felt precious. Because I knew how easily this could have gone differently, how close I'd come to either giving up or blowing up completely. That night, my husband and I stayed up talking about our anniversary trip, about his possible promotion at work, about my degree and what came next, about Kevin's college plans, about Ashley going away next year, about Danny entering high school soon, our babies growing up, our lives evolving. We'd been so caught up in the daily grind, we'd stopped seeing the bigger picture, stopped being partners, stopped being a team. But we were finding our way back. Would things stay perfect? No. Would there be more struggles? Definitely. But we'd built a new foundation, one based on mutual respect and actual partnership, and that was worth fighting for. I fell asleep that night feeling grateful for my messy, imperfect family, for second chances, for the strength to demand better, for not giving up. And as I drifted off, I thought about that moment in the living room weeks ago, when I'd dropped those duffel bags at Kevin's feet, when I'd drawn my line in the sand. Best, worst moment of my life, the moment everything changed. Update 2. 3 months later. It's been 3 months since I laid down the law with my family. 3 months since I threatened to kick Kevin out. 3 months since I stopped accepting less than I deserved. A lot has happened since my last update. Some good, some challenging, all of it real. The chore situation stabilized after that 6-week mark. Everyone found their groove. There's still the occasional slip-up. Kevin forgets dishes sometimes. Ashley procrastinates on dusting. Danny's vacuuming isn't always thorough. My husband still needs reminders about deep cleaning the bathroom. But the difference is they catch themselves now. Kevin will see his dishes in the morning and wash them before work. Ashley sets multiple alarms to make sure dusting happens. Danny redoes areas if I point out he missed spots without attitude. My husband plans his cleaning days around his work schedule now. The bigger test came about 7 weeks ago. I had finals week, 3 exams and a major research paper due within 5 days. My stress levels were through the roof. Old me would have still tried to do everything. Keep the house perfect, make meals, manage everyone's schedules. Instead, I told my family I needed all hands on deck. That finals week, I was only handling my own basic needs. Everything else was theirs. They actually came through. Kevin took over all cooking, asked me what I wanted to eat and made it happen. Take out a few nights, but also actual home-cooked meals. Ashley managed the family calendar, made sure Danny got to robotics club, made sure everyone's laundry was done. Danny stepped up his cleaning duties, kept common areas tidy without reminders. My husband handled all the errands, groceries, post office, car maintenance, everything. I locked myself in our bedroom with my study materials, emerged only for meals and sleep. When I finished my last exam and came home, the house was spotless. They'd cleaned everything, deep cleaned. There was a banner in the kitchen. "Congratulations, Mom." Store-bought, definitely Kevin's handwriting. But they'd tried. We ordered pizza and celebrated me finishing my 2nd semester. I ended with a 3.9 gigapascals. Made Dean's List. My family cheered like I'd won the lottery. Kevin gave me a card. Everyone had signed it, written notes about how proud they were, how inspired they felt watching me work so hard. I cried happy tears, then slept for 12 hours straight. The next morning, I woke up feeling lighter. My husband brought me coffee in bed, said he'd been thinking. That watching me during finals week showed him how hard I'd been working all along, how he'd underestimated what I was managing. He apologized. Really, apologized. Not the token sorry people say to smooth things over. Actual acknowledgement of his failures. I told him I appreciated that we were in a better place now, but we'd both made mistakes. He agreed, said he wanted to keep improving, that he'd scheduled us a session with a marriage counselor for next week. I almost dropped my coffee. Asked why. He said because we'd let things get so bad we'd nearly fallen apart, that he wanted to make sure we kept moving forward, that he wanted tools to be a better husband. I felt hope bloom in my chest. Real hope, that this wasn't just temporary behavior change, that maybe we were actually rebuilding our relationship. The counseling session was awkward at first. Neither of us great at vulnerability. But our therapist, Linda, was patient, asked good questions, made us really listen to each other. My husband admitted he'd been defensive and lazy, that he'd taken advantage of my willingness to handle everything, that he'd hidden behind traditional gender roles even though we both worked. I admitted I'd enabled it, that I'd never clearly stated my needs, that I'd let resentment build instead of addressing problems early. Linda said these were common patterns, that awareness was the first step. We scheduled weekly sessions, homework between appointments, exercises to improve communication. It felt weird but helpful. Around this same time, Kevin started community college. 2 classes to start. He was nervous about balancing work and school. I gave him my tips: how to manage time, how to prioritize, how to ask for help when needed. He took notes, actually implemented my suggestions. His first week was rough, came home exhausted and overwhelmed, but he pushed through, started to find his rhythm. Watching him struggle through what I'd been struggling through gave us a new connection. We'd study together sometimes, quiz each other. He'd complain about his English teacher. I'd commiserate about my statistics professor. My husband watched us bond over school, and I saw something in his face. Maybe regret that he'd never gone to college. Or maybe pride that both his wife and son were doing it now. Ashley's college applications became a whole family project. Everyone helped. Kevin proofread essays. Danny helped with photo selection for her portfolio. My husband handled the financial aid forms. I kept her organized and on deadline. She applied to 8 schools, mix of reach schools, target schools, and safeties. Her top choice was a state university about 3 hours away, far enough to feel independent, close enough to visit. We toured the campus in October. Beautiful fall day. Ashley's eyes lit up walking around. She could see herself there. We all could. On the drive home, she thanked us. Said she'd been worried we wouldn't support her leaving, that things had been so tense she thought we might ask her to stay local. I told her we wanted whatever made her happy, that we'd miss her but we were proud of her. She cried. Happy tears. Said she was scared but excited. My husband reached back and squeezed her hand. Said she was ready, that we'd raised her right. Mid-October brought parent-teacher conferences for Danny. His grades had improved across the board. His robotics teacher said he was a leader on the team, helped newer kids learn, stayed after to work on projects. We left feeling proud. On the way home, Danny asked if we were disappointed in him. Confused, we asked why. He said because he wasn't applying to college like Kevin, wasn't excelling at sports like Ashley, that he was just normal. My husband pulled over, turned around, told Danny he was extraordinary, that not everyone's path looks the same, that we loved him exactly as he was, that normal was underrated. I added that his kindness and reliability made him special, that watching him grow into such a good person was our greatest success. Danny smiled, small smile but real, said he'd been worried, that he loved us too. The moment felt important, necessary. We'd been so focused on Kevin and Ashley's big life changes, we'd neglected Danny's quieter needs. That conversation led to making more one-on-one time with him. Movie nights, building projects, just hanging out. Late October, my work announced layoffs, budget cuts, 10% of staff. I felt my stomach drop. My promotion was recent. Was I safe? Waited 3 days for the list. When it came out, I'd survived. But 3 people from my team hadn't, including Jake, who'd been there 12 years. The office was somber. Survivor's guilt is real. I went home that night shaken. My husband held me while I cried, for Jake and the others, for the reminder that nothing is guaranteed. He said we'd figure it out whatever happened, that I was valuable, that any company would be lucky to have me. I believed him. The survivor's bonus made Kevin's decision easier. He'd been considering moving out to assert independence, but seeing how quickly jobs could disappear made him rethink. He decided to stay home through his associate's degree. Save money, build a cushion, mature decision. Growth I never would have expected from cocky Kevin 3 months ago. Early November brought my husband's promotion. He got the job his retiring boss left. More money, better title, but also more responsibility. He was worried about managing the extra workload. I reminded him he'd been managing more at home now, that he'd developed better time management skills, that I believed in him. His first week was brutal. Came home exhausted. But he didn't let home stuff slip. Still did his chore days. Still helped with dinner. Still showed up for family. Second week was easier. Third week, he found his groove. By week 4, he was thriving. Told me the skills he'd learned managing household tasks actually helped with delegation at work. That breaking things down into manageable pieces worked in both domains. Who knew adulting at home translated to professional success? Thanksgiving snuck up on us. Usually my most stressful day of the year. Cooking for hours, cleaning for days before and after, managing family dynamics if extended family came. This year I announced we were doing it different. Everyone was cooking one dish. I'd do the turkey. My husband signed up for stuffing and green beans. Kevin took mashed potatoes and gravy. Ashley claimed rolls and a vegetable side. Danny wanted dessert duty. Thanksgiving morning, the kitchen was chaos. Good chaos. Everyone cooking simultaneously, asking questions, taste testing, music playing, laughing at mistakes. The house smelled amazing. Dinner was delicious. Not perfect. Kevin's gravy was lumpy. Ashley's rolls were a bit burnt on the bottom. Danny's pie crust was tough, but it was ours. Together, we went around the table saying what we were thankful for. My husband said his family, for second chances, for growth. Kevin said support, for not giving up on him, for believing he could be better. Ashley said love, for parents who push her to succeed, for a home that feels stable again. Danny said peace, for not fighting all the time, for everyone being happier. I said change, for finding the courage to demand it, for a family willing to rise to the challenge. We held hands around the table. Moment of silence. Gratitude. Then Kevin ruined it by burping loudly. We all laughed, threw napkins at him. Back to normal. Our new normal. That night, after everyone went to bed, my husband and I sat on the back porch. Cold November air, wrapped in blankets. Stars visible since we'd turned off the porch light. He said he'd been thinking about the past few months, about how close we'd come to divorce. Asked if I'd really been ready to leave. I told him honestly yes, that I'd reached a point where being alone felt better than being unappreciated. That scared the shit out of him. He said he never wanted to take me for granted again, that he'd been working on himself in counseling, processing his own upbringing. His dad had been the same way, distant, left everything to his mom. He'd promised himself he'd be different but fell into the same patterns. He was breaking the cycle now, learning to be the partner and father he wanted to be. I told him I saw the effort, that I appreciated it, that I was proud of him. He kissed me, really kissed me, like he had when we were dating, when everything was new and exciting. We made love that night, first time in months, not because we were too tired, but because we were actually connected again, as partners, not roommates, not co-parents. The next morning, Kevin knocked on our bedroom door, asked if we were okay because we were laughing loudly last night. My husband and I looked at each other, cracked up, told Kevin we were fine. Great, actually. He looked confused, walked away, shaking his head. Ashley had heard too. She just grinned at breakfast, said she was glad we were happy, that the house felt lighter when we were good. Early December brought Ashley's first college acceptance, her safety school. She was pleased but not excited, waiting to hear from her dream school. Kevin finished his first semester, passed both classes. Not great grades, but passing. He was proud. We threw him a little celebration, cake and balloons. He acted embarrassed, but I saw him smile. My stats final was brutal. Walked out feeling defeated. Called my sister Patricia, crying. She talked me down, reminded me one test didn't define me, that I'd worked hard, that I'd done my best. Grades posted a week later. I passed. B-, not what I wanted, but acceptable. My family celebrated like I'd gotten an A. Their support meant everything. Mid-December, my husband and I finally took our anniversary trip. His mom stayed with the kids. We drove to a bed and breakfast 2 hours away. Small town, quiet, no agenda, just us. First day we slept in, had breakfast in bed, walked around town holding hands, talked about everything and nothing. No pressure, just enjoyed each other. Second day we went wine tasting. Neither of us knew anything about wine. Made up ridiculous tasting notes, laughed until we cried, came back tipsy and goofy, made love in the afternoon, napped tangled together. That night at dinner, my husband gave me a gift. Small box. I opened it expecting jewelry. Instead, I found a key. Confused, I asked what it was for. He said it was symbolic. Key to his heart, to our future. Cheesy but sweet. He'd also written me a letter. 6 pages. His terrible handwriting. Poured his heart out. About his failures. His growth. His love for me. His commitment to our future. About how I'd saved our family by refusing to accept less. I cried, reading it. Kept crying through dinner. Happy tears. Healing tears. We drove home the next day. Picked up the kids. They'd survived without us. House was still standing. Everyone had done their chores. I felt lighter, like I could breathe deeper. Christmas approached. Usually a stressful time. Expectations. Traditions. Family obligations. This year felt different. We simplified. Decided on one gift per person. That was meaningful. Not dozens of random things. Kevin got a laptop for school. Ashley got professional photography equipment for her portfolio. Danny got the building set he'd been wanting forever. My husband got a watch he'd been eyeing. I got a massage package and a gift certificate to a bookstore. Simple. Thoughtful. Enough. Christmas morning was peaceful. We made breakfast together. Opened gifts slowly. Watched movies. Played games. No stress. No rush. Just family time. As I sat there watching my family laugh and interact, I thought about where we'd been 3 months ago. How broken things had felt. How hopeless I'd been. How close we'd come to falling apart completely. But we hadn't. We'd fought for each other. Done the work. Made real changes. Not just surface level. Deep foundational shifts. Was everything perfect? No. Did we still have moments of frustration? Absolutely. But we'd built something sustainable. Something real. That night, after everyone went to bed, I sat at the kitchen table. Opened my laptop. Looked at my course schedule for next semester. 4 classes. My last full-time semester before I started my thesis. 1 more year. Then my master's degree would be done. I'd be eligible for the director position at work. My kids would be growing and changing. Ashley leaving for college. Kevin advancing in his degree. Danny entering high school. My husband continuing to evolve as a partner. Our life was in motion, but finally moving in a direction that felt right. I closed my laptop, turned off the lights, went upstairs. My husband was already asleep. I climbed into bed next to him. He instinctively reached for me, pulled me close. I fell asleep feeling grateful for the hard conversations, for the uncomfortable changes, for refusing to settle, for fighting for better. 3 months ago, I'd threatened to kick my son out, to divorce my husband, to blow up my life if things didn't change. Best worst decision I ever made, because it forced us all to wake up, to see what we'd become, to choose differently. And we had. We'd chosen family, real family. Not the performative kind, the messy hard work kind, the kind that shows up, the kind that evolves, the kind that fights for each other. As I drifted off to sleep, I smiled. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, more growth, more learning, but we'd face it together, as an actual team, and that made all the difference. Final update. 6 months later. 6 months. Half a year since I lost my mind at the dining room table and demanded my family step up. Half a year since I threatened to kick Kevin out. Half a year since everything changed. This is going to be my last update. Figured I'd tie up loose ends for anyone still following this journey. January started my final full semester of coursework. 4 intense classes. My thesis proposal due in April. Work ramping up with new responsibilities from my promotion last year. It should have been overwhelming. But I had support. Real support. Not the kind where people say they'll help but don't. Actual, tangible assistance. Kevin's second semester started the same week as mine. We coordinated study schedules. Made sure we weren't both stressed at the same time. If he had a major exam, I'd handle more around the house that week. If I had a paper due, he'd take over dinners. Reciprocal, fair, how it should have always been. Ashley was in her last semester of high school, waiting on college decisions. She'd heard from 3 schools, accepted to 2, still waiting on her dream school. The waiting was killing her. She'd checked the portal obsessively. My husband and I tried to keep her grounded, reminded her she had good options regardless. Danny started second semester of 8th grade. Growth spurt hit hard. Suddenly taller than me, eating everything in sight. Still sweet though. Still kind. Still the easiest of our 3 kids. One Friday night in late January, we had a family game night. Danny's idea. We played Cards Against Humanity, the family edition. Laughed until we cried. Kevin made elaborate snacks. Ashley DJ'd from her phone. My husband and I dominated the competition. At one point, I looked around the table at these people. My people. Thought about how different this was from 6 months ago. How we'd been broken. Disconnected. How I'd been drowning. This moment. This simple joy. Worth every hard conversation. Every uncomfortable change. Early February brought my husband's work crisis. One of his major projects went sideways. Client threatening to pull their contract. He was stressed beyond belief. Working late. Coming home exhausted. Old him would have let everything at home slip. Would have expected me to pick up his slack without discussion. Instead, he talked to me. Explained what was happening. Asked what we could do to manage the temporary chaos. We redistributed his chores for 2 weeks. Kevin and Ashley split bathroom cleaning. I covered his cooking nights. Simple adjustments. Clear communication. He made it through the crisis. Saved the client relationship. Got praised by the VP. When things calmed down, he made up the chores he'd missed. Took the kids out one Saturday so I could have alone time. Brought home my favorite takeout. Small gestures. Big impact. Valentine's Day was simple. My husband and I went to dinner. Nothing fancy. Just us. We'd been going to counseling regularly. Linda said we'd made significant progress. Recommended dropping to twice monthly sessions. We'd developed better communication patterns. Understood each other's triggers. Worked as an actual team. At dinner, my husband said something that stuck with me. He said the past 6 months had been the hardest and best of his life. That being forced to grow up had been painful but necessary. That he was grateful I'd demanded it, even when he'd resented it in the moment. I told him I'd been terrified. That I hadn't known if my ultimatum would work or blow everything up. That I'd been prepared to actually follow through with consequences. He said he knew. That my willingness to walk away was what made him take it seriously. That he'd realized he couldn't manipulate or placate his way out. He had to actually change. We held hands across the table. Not perfect people, but people actively working to be better. That was enough. March brought Ashley's dream school acceptance. She screamed when she saw the portal update. Happy tears. Jumping around the kitchen. We were all thrilled for her, but also nervous. The school was expensive. Even with financial aid, the gap was significant. We had a family meeting about finances. Laid everything out. What we could afford. What she'd need to cover with loans and work study. Ashley said she understood. That she'd work part-time at school. Apply for scholarships. Do whatever it took. Kevin volunteered to help. Said he'd been saving money from work. Wanted to contribute to Ashley's education. We were stunned. He said she'd helped him see the value of school. That he wanted to support her the way we'd supported him. Ashley hugged him. Actually hugged him. When was the last time those two had hugged? I couldn't remember. That moment felt monumental. My kids supporting each other. Without being told. Without resentment. Choosing to be there for each other. Kevin finished his second semester with better grades. B in English. B- in math. Huge improvement from last semester. He was finding his confidence. Talking about maybe doing a 4-year degree eventually. Not rushing, but considering it. My thesis proposal was approved in early April. One more hurdle cleared. My advisor said she was impressed with my work, that I was on track to finish by December, graduate next spring. I could see the finish line, the end of this grueling 2-year journey. Ashley's senior prom was late April. She looked beautiful, wore a dress she'd picked out herself, bought with money from her part-time job. My husband teared up taking photos. Danny made gagging noises, but I saw him smile. Kevin gave her dating advice, told her date to have her home by midnight or else. Overprotective brother act, but sweet. That night, my husband and I stayed up waiting. Didn't mean to be those parents, but we were. Ashley came home right at midnight, glowing, said she'd had a perfect night, hugged us both, went to bed happy. Early May brought Danny's 8th grade graduation. Small ceremony. He got an award for community service. For his volunteer work with Robotics Club teaching elementary kids. We were proud. He acted embarrassed. But I saw him scan the audience for us. Saw his face when he spotted us all there. Even Kevin took off work. That mattered to Danny. I could tell. My final exams were mid-May. Brutal week, but manageable. My family handled everything at home. Left me care packages outside my door. Snacks and notes. You got this, Mom. Proud of you. We love you. Small things. Everything. I finished my last exam feeling accomplished. This degree that had seemed impossible 2 years ago, that had nearly destroyed my family, was done. Well, except the thesis. But coursework was complete. Ashley graduated high school 2 weeks later. Valedictorian. We'd known for a while, but seeing her up there giving her speech choked me up. She talked about resilience, about family, about people who push you to be better. She looked right at us when she said it. My husband grabbed my hand. Kevin whistled loudly. Danny cheered. Our girl. Going out into the world. That night we had a party. Extended family. Friends. Ashley in her element. Social and bright. At one point she pulled me aside. Said thank you. For everything. For showing her what strength looks like. For fighting for our family. For being her role model. I hugged her tight. Told her I was proud of who she was becoming. She cried a little. Then went back to her friends. Summer hit. Different dynamic with Ashley preparing to leave. She worked full-time, saving money, spent time with friends, started packing. The reality of her leaving was hitting everyone. Danny especially. They'd always been close despite the age gap. He was quiet about it, but I saw him lingering in her doorway more, wanting to hang out. Ashley made time for him. Movie nights. Late night talks. Building memories before she left. Kevin was handling it differently. Overly casual, acting like it was no big deal. But I saw him watching her, probably realizing their relationship had grown so much, just in time for her to leave. My husband was struggling most. His little girl, growing up and leaving. He'd get emotional randomly, flip through old photos, tell stories from when she was little. I'd hold him, remind him this was good. This meant we'd done our job. She was ready. Mid-July brought my husband's and my anniversary. 21 years. We'd almost not made it to 21. That wasn't lost on either of us. We didn't do anything big. Dinner at home. Just us. The kids all out. We cooked together, opened a nice bottle of wine, toasted to survival, to growth, to choosing each other every day. My husband said something I'll never forget. He said a year ago he'd been coasting, taking me for granted, assuming I'd always be there, that my explosion had been a wake-up call, that losing me had become real enough to motivate actual change. He said he was grateful, that our marriage now was better than it had ever been. Not because it was easy, but because we were both actively participating. I agreed. Told him I was grateful too, for his willingness to change, for doing the work, for becoming the partner I needed. We made love that night, connected in ways we hadn't been in years, not just physically, emotionally, spiritually, like we'd found each other again after being lost. Late July, Ashley and I went shopping for college supplies. Made a day of it. Lunch. Walking around the mall. Mother-daughter time. She was excited but nervous. Asked if I thought she was ready. I told her absolutely. That she was capable and smart and kind. That she'd figure it out. That we'd be here if she needed us. She asked if I was okay with her leaving. I told her honestly it was bittersweet. That I'd miss her. But I was excited to see what she'd become. She thanked me again. Said these past months had changed her. Made her see me differently. As a person. Not just mom. That she wanted to be like me. Strong and clear about her boundaries. I nearly cried in the middle of Target. Kevin's summer semester was his first full-time. 3 classes. Working part-time. It was a lot. He struggled initially. Called me one night frustrated. Said he didn't know how I'd done this. Work and school and everything else. I reminded him I hadn't done it well at first. That I'd been drowning. That he was doing better than I had. That asking for help was strength, not weakness. He said he needed to reduce his work hours. Cut back on shifts. Focus on school. I supported that decision. His manager wasn't happy. Kevin stood firm. School was priority now. The growth, the confidence, the self-advocacy. My boy was becoming a man. Early August, we moved Ashley into her dorm. 3-hour drive, packed SUV, all 5 of us helping carry boxes up 3 flights of stairs. Her roommate seemed nice, parents friendly. We helped set up her side of the room, made her bed, hung posters. When it was time to leave, Danny hugged her first. Long hug. Told her not to forget about him. She promised she wouldn't. Kevin hugged her next. Told her to call if she needed anything. To kill it at school. Make them proud. My husband could barely speak. Hugged her. Whispered something in her ear. I saw him wipe tears walking away. I hugged her last. Told her I loved her. That she could handle whatever came. That home was always here. She cried. Said she loved me too. That she'd call all the time. We left her standing in front of her dorm. Waving. Looking small and brave. The drive home was quiet. Danny stared out the window. Kevin pretended to sleep. My husband gripped the steering wheel too tight. I held his free hand. When we got home, the house felt empty. We ordered pizza. Nobody was very hungry. Went to bed early. That night, I heard Danny crying in his room. Went in. Sat on his bed. He said he missed Ashley already. That the house felt weird without her. I told him that was normal. That it would get easier. That we'd visit her soon. He nodded. Let me hug him. 14-year-old boy letting his mom hold him. Meant he really needed it. The next week was adjustment. Setting new routines without Ashley. 3 place settings instead of 4. Quieter house. Danny wandered into Ashley's room a few times. Just stood there. Kevin threw himself into school. Avoiding feelings, probably. My husband was subdued. Missing his girl. I felt it too. But also pride. We'd raised her well. Sent her off prepared. Ashley called 3 times the first week. FaceTime videos of her dorm, her classes, new friends. She was thriving. Homesick but handling it. By week 2, the calls dropped to every other day. Normal. She was building her new life. We were learning to let go. Kevin came to me mid-August with an idea. He wanted to start a tutoring program at school. Help struggling students. Give back. I told him that was amazing. Helped him write a proposal to the program coordinator. He got approved. Would start fall semester. September brought my thesis work into full swing. Research. Writing. Revisions. My advisor was demanding but fair. Pushed me to dig deeper. Think critically. Produce quality work. I was grateful for the challenge. Kevin's 3rd semester started strong. He'd found his rhythm. Work, school, life balance. Made Dean's List. His first time. We celebrated. He acted casual. But I saw him smile when my husband put the letter on the fridge. Danny started high school. Nervous about new building. Bigger school. More students. First day he came home relieved. Said it wasn't as scary as he thought. Made some friends at lunch. Joined 2 clubs. My husband and I attended freshman parent orientation. Held hands walking the hallways. Remembered when Kevin and Ashley had been freshmen. Time flies. October was busy. My thesis consuming most free time. But I made sure to stay present. Attend Danny's robotics competitions. Have dinner with family. Check in with Kevin about school. FaceTime Ashley weekly. Balance. The thing I'd been terrible at 2 years ago. Getting better now. My husband planned a weekend getaway for just us. Anniversary trip part 2. Left the boys with his mom. Drove to the mountains. Stayed in a cabin. Hiked. Read. Made love. Talked for hours. Reconnected away from daily chaos. On our last night, he said he'd been thinking about renewing our vows. For real this time. Not just ceremony. But actual recommitment. With everything we'd learned. Everything we'd become. I loved the idea. Started planning for next summer. November brought Thanksgiving. First one without Ashley physically present. She couldn't come home. Too far. Too expensive. School schedule. We FaceTimed her during dinner. She was eating with friends. Happy but wistful. Said she missed us. Missed home. We missed her too. But she was where she needed to be. The dinner itself was good. Kevin and Danny handled most of the cooking. My husband and I supervised. We'd come so far from last year. From that chaotic, beautiful Thanksgiving where everyone cooked together. This year, smoother. More skilled. Still together. December came fast. My thesis first draft was due. Submitted it on the deadline. Exhausted but relieved. Would get feedback in January. Make revisions. Defend in March. Graduate in May. So close. Kevin finished his 3rd semester with a 3.4 gigapascals. Qualified for academic scholarship for spring. Saved him significant money. He was proud. We were proud. Danny finished 1st semester of high school with all A's and B's. Made the robotics competition team. Coming into his own. Ashley came home for winter break. 3 weeks home. The house felt complete again. Full. She'd grown. More confident. More independent. She and Kevin had long talks. She and Danny caught up on everything. She and my husband had daddy-daughter date. Lunch and a movie. She and I went shopping. Talked about everything. Her classes. Friends. Her first college relationship that had recently ended. Boys. Growing up. Life. She asked how I'd done it. Balanced everything. Stayed strong. I told her the truth. That I almost hadn't. That I'd nearly broken. But I'd fought for what mattered. Demanded better. Refused to settle. She said she thought about that a lot, about my courage to draw lines, to stand up for myself, even to people I loved, especially to people I loved. Said it inspired her, that she'd ended her relationship because he wasn't treating her right, that she'd rather be alone than undervalued. I hugged her, told her I was proud, that she'd learned the lesson faster than I had. Christmas was perfect. Simple gifts, quality time, laughter, love. We played games, watched movies, cooked together. No stress, no obligation, just family. On Christmas Eve, my husband gathered us all, said he wanted to say something. He thanked me, in front of everyone, for saving our family, for demanding change, for not giving up on us, for showing everyone what strength looks like. Said the past year had transformed him, made him a better man, better husband, better father, that he'd spend the rest of his life proving he deserved me. I cried, kids cried, group hug in the living room, holding each other, my family, imperfect, human, but trying, actually trying. New Year's Eve, we stayed home, all 5 of us. Countdown at midnight. When the ball dropped, we toasted. To growth, to change, to family, to second chances, to new beginnings. As we clinked glasses, I looked around. At my husband who'd become my partner, at Kevin who'd matured beyond recognition, at Ashley home for a brief moment before flying again, at Danny steady and kind, at this family we'd almost lost, this family we'd fought for. 1 year ago I'd been drowning, exhausted, unappreciated, invisible. 6 months ago I'd issued ultimatums, demanded change or consequences. Today I was happy, actually happy. Not because everything was perfect, but because everyone was trying, because we'd built something real, something sustainable, because I'd stopped accepting less than I deserved, and my family had risen to meet me. Would there be more challenges? Absolutely. Life doesn't stop, but we'd face them together, as a team, an actual team. My story isn't unique. Lots of women, lots of people, carry too much, exhaust themselves trying to hold everything together alone, feel invisible, unappreciated, burned out. If you're reading this and relating, please hear me. You deserve better. You deserve partnership. You deserve to be seen, valued, appreciated. Don't wait until you're drowning to demand change. Don't let resentment build until you explode. Draw your lines, state your needs, accept nothing less than what you deserve.